Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Burma Nation. This is lesson 5.4, part 2. We're talking about compound inequalities still. This is the union part of it. And unions are a compound inequality containing the word or that means at least one of the inequalities is true. So previously in the part 1 video, we talked about the intersections, which is where things are going to overlap. And so those are and problems. These are called unions. These are either ors. So one of the inequalities will be true to make this a true statement. All right, so let's move along. I believe that I have three. There we go. I have three problems to work on. Are you ready? Yeah, I heard it. I heard someone say that they were ready. That's wonderful. So what we have is we have two problems here separated by the word or. And that's kind of going to be our indicator that we are looking for a union. So we have a 4k minus 7 is less than or equal 25. And we're going to solve that. So we're going to solve it by using our SADMAP skills. We're going to undo what's happening to the variable. So we're left with a 4k is less than or equal to this 32. And then we're going to divide by 4 on both sides to get k is less than or equal to 8. Now if I were to graph that, I'm going to take my 8 and I'm going to have a closed circle and shade to the left. Whee! Okay, now my next problem, I should have underlined it in red. Uh-oh, spinning wheel of death happened. Okay, that's good now. We have a 12 minus 9k is less than or equal to 30. So we're going to subtract 12 from both sides, and then we're going to have a negative 9k is greater than or equal to 18 because we did the math there. We're going to now divide by a negative 9. And because we divided by a negative number, this is going to be k is less than or equal to, so the sign switch because the divide by negative, so a negative 2. So I'm going to have k is less than or equal to a negative 2. So I have a closed circle and shading left. Now because we have either or of these being potentially our answer, the graph only needs to contain the very first one because our first one of k is less than or equal to 8 encompasses the second one in red here. So my graph doesn't even need this stuff in red because it's already being covered up from the first part because it's either or. So we're looking at one of the inequalities to make the entire compound inequality true. So that's what we're looking at. I don't need to have that part graphed. So I could have just had a closed circle going to the left. And that would be all my answer needs to be. All right, moving on to the next one. Let's see if we can do the same type of stuff. It's not going to get much more difficult or really any easier, except for these have less steps, so I guess this is easier. We have an a plus 1. Okay, so I got interrupted. I don't remember what I was saying. This could get easier by this problem because it's less steps than the previous one. So we have a plus 1 is less than a 4. So to solve that, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. That gets us that a is less than 3. And then we're going to do the next one over here. I'll do that one in this purplish color. I think it's purple. And so we're going to have a minus 1, if my computer lets me to go. There we go. A minus 1 is a less than 3. So we would do plus 1 to both sides, and then a is less than 4. So we have two very similar types of inequalities. A is less than 4 will be an open circle going to the left. A is less than 3 will be an open circle going to the left. Since this one encompasses more things, actually it covers the entirety of that one, because that one would have been a open circle to the left at positive 3. Because this one covers that, that means that this line doesn't need to be drawn because it's being covered from a is less than 4. All right, one more and then we'll be all done here. Solving the next one, we have x is less than or equal to 9. Or this other one, which I'll do in green. We haven't done green yet. We have a 2 plus 4x is less than 10. So to solve it, we'll subtract 2 from both sides. And we get 4x is less than, that was a 10 minus 2, so that makes an 8. So to solve it, we would divide by 4 on both sides, and x is going to be less than 2. So x is less than or equal to 9, has a closed circle at 9 going to the left. X is less than 2 has a open circle at 2 going to the left. And because this green line covers up my purple line, I don't need to have this one, just like we did in the last one, and it's actually already done. Now the confusing part, folks, like I was trying to tell you in class, the confusing part is, when do we know if they go in opposite directions? Like if we had graphs like this, and the first part, if this is an and, it's a no solution. But if it's an or, this is just what the lines will look like. Because you would have a number line that goes something like that with all the dash marks. And that would tell us that we just have a graph that could work here or could work there, because it's an or problem. All right, folks, this is the Berman Nation. That's all we have for you. This should make some sense to you. If you have questions, make sure you put circles into your assignment. Put down the question. Make sure you ask. Don't be shy. I'm here to help. All right, Berman Nation signing off. Have a good one.